Hello there, and welcome to the True Pop Culture 7 show. I'm your host, True Pop, here to laugh and think about pop culture stupidity.
And I'm dead
My
inside.
we'll make that the both of us. Yeah, unfortunately, my regular co-host, Mr. Bug, couldn't make it for today. He unfortunately escaped the pain and misery of watching this film. Lucky him, but yeah, I still went to share, and luckily, Shiny over here saw it as well. Shiny, how are you doing, mate?
Well, I watched Indiana Jones and my declining mental health, so it
Uh,
swings on roundabouts.
hmm I heard someone. I can't remember who I read this from, but they should rename it to like Dialysis of Destiny.
They should
Give us
rename
a
it to
bit, yeah.
Indiana Jones or the waste of my fucking time.
It's funny that you mentioned that because it's all about time travel. It's just of all the concepts you could have, it's just a magical device that can
How
time. That's
creatively bankrupt
stupid.
because time travel. Okay, so like I get the idea of like Romans and Greeks and exploring that kind of archaeology because Indiana Jones hasn't done that. We've done like Hebrews and Egyptian. We've
Hmm.
done like Crusades. We've done voodoo. And we did aliens, which okay, I like the
Yeah.
idea of doing aliens, but in execution it was fucking ass.
Yes.
And
Uh,
and how we had to go to time travel now.
mm. I think they should have done Atlantis. That would have been the obvious thing to do. I don't know how no one just came up with that. I guess, but
Indiana Jones and joining ancient aliens.
yeah. The thing is, like, what this movie in particular makes me want to do is rewatch the old movies. Really,
Yeah,
that's it.
I'd agree. I'd actually look back and think, man, maybe Crystal Skull. Maybe I judged you too poorly.
Yeah,
Maybe I was too
maybe
harsh on you,
just a Thanos meme,
buddy.
essentially. Yeah, definitely. It's kind of like that Star Wars effect with the prequels. Although I think
it's
prequel wise, I think the world
it's all
building would be better.
relative.
But yeah. It's funny that Hollywood makes even worse films as they
Sometimes
go on.
you need something even more shit to make you realize, well, the shit we got before could have been way worse, and there were actually some nice things about it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because Indiana Jones and Marion getting together, like that was all. I like that idea. It's a nice,
Hmm.
happy send off for this hero. Okay, in concept, I like it.
Hmm.
And this film, they just come along and they say, "Oh
I
yeah,
I
so Shia LaBeouf died in between
Vietnam,
films.
of
He died in
course.
Vietnam. Okay, all right,
Uh, and
and
he's divorced, and he's just like,
and he
fuck
got
off with this old
divorced.
man grouch stereotype. You cannot write for shit. Luke's an old grouch freaking Han's an old grouch freaking
I
Indiana
think it's funny
Jones is
that
an old
both of
grouch.
Harrison Ford's most classic characters are they're just old pieces of shit that got divorced and they're losers.
Oh god, kill this freaking storytelling point like immediately.
Couldn't we just
It turns an
start with
absolute joke.
Indy having a really nice life? Okay, like say we go the
Yeah.
Incredibles route. Say he's got a
Hmm.
nice life, he's family, he's happy,
Hmm.
but like he's getting the monotony of life is getting to him, and he wants the
Yes.
nostalgia of going on adventures.
Oh,
Instantly, that's a way
Uncharted 4
better
did that.
idea for this film. I
Oh,
wish they did that because that's actually a nice idea because
mhm.
we've seen it done before. We know it can be done well,
Yeah.
and they brought back actors for this film. Like I'm forgetting his name now. The British star is a soaring soar. The guy from
Salah.
the first film.
There we go.
So I'm terrible with names.
I
That
am too.
guy. It's
Mhm.
cool. It's cool bringing him, but I like him.
Yeah.
They brought back Marion. Okay, yeah, I like Marion. Okay, yeah. Who else
I'm
did
gonna
they
show
bring
off
back?
a little
Anyone
bit.
else
I
that I miss?
think, um,
I'm
my
surprised they didn't bring
brother
Short Round back.
actually met that actor, essentially, who played him.
He did.
Yeah, yeah.
Is he really
So
cool in real life? I think he
yeah,
seems like
yeah.
one of those guys that'd be really cool in real life.
yeah, he's.
I think it's funny that he'll just randomly start singing Gilbert and Sullivan in the films. He just loves singing.
But Shiny, the most important part, like, what did you think of the stunning and brave new Indiana Jones side character? I guess you could call her that.
She's such a smug, condescending cunt. Phoebe Waller-Bridge has an incredibly punchable face.
She has, like, everyone pretends in the movie that she's attractive.
I know.
I don't see that.
this guy, this mobster guy, is like,
Yeah, I'm your
like he's
fiance
falling
here. Like,
over his hands and knees for her. He's so desperate. All the guys have their heads turned by her, and it's like, I don't see. I really don't see it.
I don't see it either. Like, at best, like, maybe a 5 out of 10.
And she's
maybe
a
4.
cunt. She's an
Yeah.
absolute cunt. You know, she fucking left Jones to die in the beginning of the film. She locked him in with the people with the guns who were gonna fucking shoot him.
Who shot some fucking teachers up as well, like, for no fucking reason.
Also,
no
how
witnesses.
the fuck did Jones get blamed for those two of the co-workers that got shot when he's the one that fucking called the police to the scene?
Oh, that annoyed me. I'm like,
how does the police come to the scene and think, oh, must have been Indiana Jones? Well, who else could it have been?
But by the way, guys, I doubt anyone watching will care, but we will be talking about spoilers. Just so you're aware. I should have been doing it like that. Who the fuck cares?
The spoilers for what? It's just a film where nothing happens.
Yeah. Yeah, this film has something that I've coined a term for, by the way.
The antagonist plan to go back in time, kill Hitler, and then become the Führer.
Mate, that's someone else would become the Führer.
Okay, look. The idea of an old Nazi, like in the 60s, integrating into this space program, there's stuff you can do there. That's pretty interesting. And even the idea of him having like Nazi contacts who are like nostalgic for the old times that he can call upon, that is another interesting idea to play upon within a villain, right?
Yeah.
But like he just wants to go back in time, make himself the Führer, but because Archimedes didn't know about continental drift, they end up going back much further in time than they intended, and that's it. And they fall into this battle. They crash. The Germans try to shoot some Romans, and why did they see? Why did they see a battle and with fucking galleons and shit, like laying siege to what is it, a city from 3,000 years ago, and they think, yes, this is something that we want to fly our plane over and crash. It's like, why are they shooting their guns at them? Like, yes, I'm going to shoot my gun out of the plane at these boats. Why did they fly so close to them? They didn't have to. What? Why? It's so stupid.
No. Let's take our time with it. Let's start from the beginning. I liked the beginning part because it felt like it in a movie. But to say that
I didn't like how fast-paced a lot of the action scenes was, because it doesn't feel Indiana Jones. Because when you look at a lot of the Indiana Jones fight scenes, they do have this kind of like slow punch to them, like when you watch the tank scene in what is it, the Last Crusade, right? The tank, it's very slow, and it's like Indy's trapped on the thing, he has to try and get off it, or like he's on the horse and the tank is shooting, right? It's quite a slow action scene, but there's still a lot of stakes to it. There's a lot of punch. But every action scene in this film is just, it's trying to be every other modern film. It's so fast paced, happening, quick, all the time, constantly. And I'm just not, it doesn't fit, I don't think. And
maybe
the action
you're right
scene
on that
of
level.
Also he's getting hanged, so he cuts himself loose, but a bomb drops into the room he's in and blows up the tower.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't explode, but then it goes further down, and bombs don't explode right away. They have a timer and a fuse, so okay, that's acceptable that it went through the floor. But when it exploded at the bottom of the building, Joe should be dead. The entire
Yeah.
building should collapse. But the
Yeah.
only thing, for some reason, that the bomb affects is the wooden floors. Like, that's the only thing the bomb destroys, not the walls
but it
that are
did.
supporting everything.
Didn't it like fall through like 3 floors or some shit?
It fell through all the way to the ground floor.
Yeah.
And then because Jones was on
that's
a
still
noose
stupid though.
at the time that the bomb went off, like he's
To me, he
swinging
should
from
have
the
been
noose
dead.
while all the floors are gone.
Yeah, to me, he should have been dead as soon as that bomb essentially dropped. But I was like, oh, that's lucky that the bomb isn't dead. Oh, now it explodes when it's on the bottom floor,
And
not
then
on the
he
second
jumps
floor.
on the
or something.
train.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this artifact, it's a
Oh,
fake.
Oh, you know
Okay.
how stupid it was when Mads Mikkelsen's character hit the fucking
Yeah.
train?
He's
dead.
think it was one of like the watering towers. He hit the watering tower and he went fucking flying. The train's going at what, like 80 miles an hour or something like that. Some shit. How the fuck does he survive getting hit in the face by a water tower at that speed?
No, that is that. Like, did you watch what was it? Speed?
Like,
was it Speed? Yeah, it was Speed.
And then for the rest of the film, he had a limp, right?
Yeah.
Like, he fell off and he broke his leg. That's understandable. But no, he was hit square in the face.
Like, I remember the movie Speed with Keanu Reeves, and he's fighting like the final boss on the tram, I think, and literally he kills the main evil bad guy the same fucking way, just like pushes him and he just falls into that, and it's just that's established as a death essentially. And I don't get why this wouldn't be essentially a death in here. Not at all essentially. What else was right? What was this spear of Longinus?
And the film said it was the blade that drew Christ's blood or something like that.
Oh, and it was a fake apparently.
Yeah, it was a fake. In the film, they said it was 40, 50 years ago, and it's got new alloys in that they wouldn't have had access to 2,000 years ago. So
That
yeah,
is... Yeah, go on. Sorry.
So it's like, yeah, so it's like, okay, well that's a fake. Okay, I guess we just want to stop this train now and get off, because at the exact same time all this is going on, we've got the British. Well, we know it's the British because they had the British flag up that they hoisted up onto the train by the end. So the British are coming, and they're bombing everywhere and attacking this random train. Why are they attacking the train? Like, surely
That
like these because like bombers, right? They're not that precise. Usually you're trying to like bomb a whole area in hopes of attacking something. So why are the planes purposely attacking the train?
Troniclus P here. Disney can't get enough of the sad broken. Yes, they absolutely can. I'm sure they've done it in other Disney films as well.
But they never do it well. It's always shit.
They've overused it at this point as well. Like, enough. Think of something more creative. Like, you can't do it like
the idea of having a sort of like an Incredibles where he's he's married and he's got a family now, and he's very nostalgic for the old days, and that wanting for adventure is what drives him. That would work far better. And you know what? I'd even say include Short Round instead of Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yes, this movie would have been a lot more enjoyable.
All of a sudden, the film is far more interesting.
But I can't remember when this film was filmed. I don't know if it was during film, but the Short Round actor, he got popular essentially with the multiverse movie he was in. So I don't know if they were still filming back then or not. I don't know.
Multiverse movie?
What was it called? Crap, I forgot the name of it. It's like an American Chinese lady, and she like travels through multiverses. Chat, what movie am I thinking of? God damn it, I forgot the name of it. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I think it was that. Was it that?
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've never seen that film.
yeah. So the actor of Short Round is in that movie, and he's absolutely fantastic. And he still very much sounds like Short Round. His voice, like like he hasn't gone
How
to
is he
puberty.
still that high pitched?
Yeah. Yeah, his voice has a bit weird pitch to it, but
Yeah. He
he
was
was
in Everything Everywhere All at
and
Once, according to IMDb.
yeah, he was.
Yeah, according to IMDb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was fantastic in that he could like nail all the action scenes. Because he was playing like one multiverse version of him, or he was like kind of like this loser and this kind of really overly nice guy. And in other scenes, he was playing like this action star essentially that could fight everyone, and he absolutely nailed that as well. He would have been a real asset to a Indiana Jones film. And I'm definitely sure the actor himself like met Harrison Ford behind the scenes at one point. So that would have been a surefire thing, like to me anyway, to include
I'm
him.
absolutely flabbergasted. With all the other actors that they brought back, I'm surprised that's the one they didn't.
Yeah. Missed opportunity for sure. Um, the thing is, like, I wanted to ask you, what did you think of the de-aging in the
The
beginning?
de-aging is incredibly hit and miss.
Yes.
Sometimes in some scenes it's fine. In other scenes it's not great.
I saw you tweet out that you could still hear his old man voice as I was watching it, and I was like, actually, yeah, you do kind of hear his old
Yeah,
Harrison
he
Ford
does
voice.
sound
Essentially,
old.
I don't know what you do about that. How do you make someone sound younger computer-wise?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if there's a way yet. I don't deal with audio. You'd have to ask audio experts.
Mm. I did get a new headset with a new mic, by the way. Let me know, chat, what you think of the new mic. Essentially, I hope it sounds okay. So, got a little bit of an upgrade, I guess. I'm going for an upgrade, but yeah, computer-wise, I think like when he was being hanged, he like kind of moved his chin. I'm like, oh, that looks a little rubbery. Like, don't move too much. But I can see why that costs like a good god a lot of money. I'm just left asking myself like, if you're going through all this way to the DA gym, spend all this money, but maybe you cast a different actor. I know that's risky, but I think that's.
Or listen to me here. We just
Mhm.
don't
Oh,
make
don't
another
move.
Indiana Jones
Yes,
film.
yes, you do that. Definitely. There is going to be a Indiana Jones game coming out soon. I don't know who it's made by. There was a trailer for it ages ago.
That would be interesting because at the very least, when you give a game to a studio, they've got more free reign on it compared to when you're making a movie.
Okay,
And like
interesting.
the interesting example to go to there is like when you look at Respawn and the games that they've made, like the Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, they are almost completely different visions to the kind of films and TVs that get produced by Lucasfilm. Because everything that you see from Lucasfilm in terms of TV and films, they're produced in-house. When when a video game is being made, it's being produced by the game studio that they outsource to. So the game studio usually writes the story. They do everything.
Nice. So no.
Lucasfilm just provides the funding. So in theory, the Indiana Jones game has way more chance of being good than anything else that you're going to get from Lucasfilm.
Interesting.
And
That
depends who's
might
making it.
explain. Yeah, that might explain why the Jedi Survivor is quite good, essentially. Story-wise as well. Although it kind of does defeat the purpose of Order 66 if you have freaking Jedi everywhere surviving.
Yeah, well, that's not a problem specifically created by Jedi Survivor. It's just another one. The another thing that really ticked me off about Jedi Survivor, and we'll get back to
Mhm.
Indiana Jones. I think it would have been way more interesting if Cal wasn't just flaunting the fact that he's a Jedi, because you can't do that in this era. You can't just flaunt that you're a Jedi everywhere and the Empire knows you're running about, because you're gonna get hunted. You know, like you can't do that. But Cal's just like, oh yeah, I'm Cal Kestis. I'm a Jedi. He's running around on Coruscant with a lightsaber. Everyone knows who he is. It's like, yeah, okay,
dude,
look,
dude,
you
didn't you
shouldn't have done
bump
that.
into Darth like earlier in the game? He was practically like a horror monster movie
Yeah,
in there.
you run into
So,
Darth Vader in the first game in the ending.
did I think Darth killed like the main big Jedi, but like I
Oh yeah,
struggle to
Darth
believe
Vader
like
turns up and he kills one of the Jedi.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm like asking for like a world building perspective. I think Darth Vader killed most of the Jedi after Order
Hmm.
66 that were remnants, but there were also Inquisitors, and I just don't buy the fact that I don't buy Inquisitors that they could handle these Jedi. It's like
Yeah, because
and
the
Darth
Inquisitors are
doing it
all
all by himself
shit.
as well.
Well,
Yeah.
because like Rebels, I think ultimately from the Inquisitor's inception, they already fucked them, because they started with the Grand Inquisitor. He's supposed to be the top dog of them. He's supposed to be the one that everyone fears. And you know what? He's an all right villain. But then he
Mhm.
dies, and then you get the fucking B team. Oh my god, the B team's supposed to be so intimidating when you already killed the big bad one, and the only response they have to that is, well, now I get to move up on the chain. It's like, no, but the guy who was more powerful than all of you died. How are we supposed to consider you a threat?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like they're all bumbling, they're all buffoons, they all fucking die, and then they never turn up again, and then they only come
Mm.
back in Kenobi, where they're also shit, and in Jedi Fallen Order, which they're actually like the third sister and ninth sister are actually pretty fucking good villains.
Hmm. I'm guessing because the Order probably had to get rid of them eventually, the Inquisitors. Because you don't see them in any of the Star Wars movies. So
Well, they all
how do you get
die.
around
That's
that?
the reason why they get rid of them. Because
Oh,
they're
okay.
shit.
Huh.
Because well, Rebels kills off the last of them, so it's like, what else can they do? And of course, they
Hmm.
can't have him show up in the original trilogy. But they had no plan for any of it. So if they
No,
actually
no.
planned it out, they could have actually done so much more with the Inquisitorius and have them be really interesting and cool. But because they planned none of it, Rebels just went, killed them off, as like, well, don't know what to do now, and then they just
Yeah.
never returned to them again. And then
Knights of Ren
Fallen
energy.
Order
Yeah,
returned to
exactly.
them and had cool ones.
Yeah.
And
I
then they
like that this
died.
Star Wars world building talk is so much more interesting than the actual film
Well,
of
because there's
Indiana
more to
Jones.
talk about in that than Indiana Jones in the waste of my time.
It should have
Fine,
been
we'll get back
Atlantis.
to Indiana Jones and my fucking
Mm,
depravity of my life.
yeah,
So what can we talk about
yeah.
about this film?
Um,
So we got up to the train
yeah,
where
yeah. I
the
want
things are
to ask
fake.
more about this. Yeah, how the hell is it a fake? Like, it's a replica made by someone, right?
Yeah, well, we can guess that someone made a replica at some point, and I guess
Okay,
it found its way into the hands of the Germans when they stole it.
okay. I don't know why. Why on a okay? So the main point Indiana's there is he's looking specifically for that staff, and he, by
Yeah,
happenstance, just gets the dial, right?
yeah. So he's
Okay.
looking for that's knife dagger thing, and
Mm-hmm.
it just so happens that when he's doing this, it's a fake, and he's like, okay, well then I'm just gonna go, and he goes and gets Arnhem's Dorlat, but he's now English from Oxford,
Okay.
and
Yeah. I want to
he
focus
has to
more.
save them, and while he's saving them, he comes
Yeah.
across the dial, and then a bunch of stuff happens. Nazi gets hit in the face by a water tower. The
Mm-hmm.
other Nazi gets shot and kicked off the train. They
Mm.
jump into the ocean because for some reason the British bombed the bridge, and then
Yeah.
it's like, no, it's into the river. They jump into the river, and then that's it. They got the dial, and then we
Mm-hmm.
go into the future,
Mm.
where
Oh, exciting.
Indiana Jones is like he's not happy. He's miserable. His neighbors keep playing music very loudly, and
And
it's
he's knocking
all
on the
this is
door.
it's like, oh yeah, it's Moon Day, and we're all partying because we're gonna land on the moon. It's like, okay, and then he just walks off defeated, and he doesn't give up. And in the very next scene, the music's gone in the exact same room that it was blaring loudly in. It's complete silence. So I guess they weren't partying for very long.
Yeah, yeah. He's still a teacher,
I'm fine with
which is a
that.
bit.
Yeah, him being
Yeah,
professor.
I guess so.
I'm surprised he's a professor at like a college rather than a professor at, I
Exactly.
don't know, a university, or
It's
like
freaking
because
Indiana
wasn't he at a
Jones who
university
uncovered.
before?
Yeah, he was.
Like
I think this is why I need to rewatch the old movies. Yeah.
and like in the old ones, because everyone who enrolled in his class like loved him. All the college girls were just like swooning over him. He was like really popular. He was really good with all the teachers. He was friends with what was the guy name of the guy who ran the place? Was it Brody or something?
I
I
cannot
think in
remember. I watched it
Marcus
like
Brody,
20
I think
minutes
it is.
ago.
Marcus Brody, he's like he runs the place. He's really good friends with him. It's like everything's great, but just in the time he got a shitter job somewhere where everyone hates him. They all just want to get rid of him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you're retiring." Yeah, none of his students like him, and they don't care about their class. They don't even do their homework. They don't even care about the subject matter.
All right.
And then Phoebe Waller-Bridge is there, and
Mm.
answers all the questions
And she
perfectly.
is the bestest ever. The thing is, like,
And then what are you gonna say something?
um, you'd think the guy who freaking discovered the Ark of the Covenant, the freaking the Last Crusade cup, the Holy Grail,
Well, I
and the freaking
suppose no one really
he'd
knows
be
that
in
he
a
found the
better.
Ark of the Covenant because the
Uh,
government like cleaned it all
uh,
away.
okay.
But there are many things that Indiana Jones outside of the films we know he's like caught and then given to the museum.
He should be in a higher tier school, essentially, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But
He
not some
even if he's
college thing.
old now and that he's a bit more forgotten in his career, within
hmm
archaeological circles, he should still know a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because like when you talk about archaeological circles, it's a much more close knit community than you would expect. Like everyone knows everyone in these kinds of circles because they often have to work together and they share research and but no one knows Jonesy anymore.
hmm Yeah. Like what happened to? Right. So we don't have Short Round. We don't have the blonde lady from Temple of Doom. We don't. What other Indiana Jones characters are we missing here? Like, where are all these friends of Indiana? Essentially, he just seems to be
Oh fuck
alone, and
off.
it's just.
The one small thing I did like is Salah. He's
Mhm,
like Jones got his family out of Egypt.
mhm.
Was it during the war? And it's like
Yeah.
that's nice. I like that Jones looks after his friends and he got them to America. Like no, that's nice. That's wholesome. I like that.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
that's a
I mean,
nice
it's the
little thing.
least least
It's
he
the
could
least
do.
he could
That's
have
true.
done.
Mhm. Um,
Because
but
Salah
Shiny,
is like
that's
a really great friend to Jones.
yeah. Shiny, but don't you know that the actor is not Egyptian? So this is cultural appropriation, essentially. They should have gone an actual Egyptian to play this role. Unacceptable.
Wait, so
I
what's the background of the guy that played him?
I I
Oh, he
think
was
he's
born in
British.
Wales.
Born in Wales. Yeah.
He was born in Wales. According to his IMDb that I pulled up, yeah,
Yeah.
he's born in Wales.
Yeah. So this is just unacceptable. Racism, essentially. But yeah, I liked him in this movie, I guess. And what did you think like about Harrison Ford's performance in this movie? I felt like he was a bit more comfortable in this movie than in the Star Wars ones. Essentially, like he was a
In the
bit more
Star
politely.
Wars films, he did act like he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Like he's just there for the paycheck. But
hmm
he did try to act in this one. Like he did give it his all, but there's just
hmm
not that much that he can do, really, is there, to
Exactly.
fix this?
Um, what
So
happens after that? Yeah.
okay, so where did we get? Oh yeah, his lecture, and then
Mhm.
all the teachers and stuff, they're like welcoming him goodbye to his retirement, and
Mhm.
Indiana Jones is miserable because he's got nothing in his life, nothing's going for him. He's just gonna sit and fester in his apartment, and then he
That's
goes
not
to
Indiana
drink.
Jones. Would Indiana Jones do that? Just fester in an
I
apartment,
don't know.
essentially?
That's the way what they've given him, and that's what we're gonna live with now because that's canon. So yeah, he goes off to drink by himself with no friends. He just hangs out in a bar, and then Phoebe Waller-Bridge turns up, and she's like, "You knew my dad, and also I'm your goddaughter, something something." And she wants to get the dial, and
Mm.
he takes her to where he kept the dial, and he hid it away. And she's being followed by the CIA, who are
Like you do.
working for the Nazi because he worked for the space program, and so that means the CIA now works for him. And
They constantly mention, okay, thank you for getting us to the moon, but like, this dude isn't a rocket scientist. He's a freaking archaeology guy.
no, he's not an archaeologist. He's a mathematician or a physicist or both.
Then how the fuck did he get a dial of destiny? I thought he
I
was.
don't know. I don't know why they've got a mathematician, but in the beginning they say he's a physicist. On the train, which I don't know why they've got a physicist with the dial and doing archaeological
Okay,
stuff.
what the fuck is he
But
doing
hey,
on that train with the freaking treasures of archaeological
I
power,
don't
essentially, and
know.
the
They
Jesus
don't ever
spear?
explain. He just found out that it was a fake, and well, maybe he was there to verify the spear or the knife
What would
to
he
make
know
sure it was
about
real.
spear? A physicist? It's like inviting a freaking cooker
Well,
to a, I don't know,
I
a
don't know. He
gardening.
has some knowledge that means that he can verify that it's real or fake, and he found out that it's fake because the alloy was made too recently and didn't exist 2,000 years ago. So
Oh wait,
he's there.
try not to be saying the black female. That's
Oh, she wasn't a
that.
Nazi. She was the CIA, which was working for a
She was the
Nazi.
nicest CIA agent ever to essentially.
Yeah. So the
Uh,
CIA come in and they're working with some of the Nazis' goons,
mhm.
and the Nazi goons they kill the two teachers who work in the college, and then they also they're coming to kill Indy and Phoebe Waller-Bridge because they want the dial. And then when was it Phoebe and Jones try to escape, Phoebe Waller-Bridge just locks him in and leaves him for. Okay, so this is a really good friend of your father, right?
Mhm.
This is a really good friend. So someone who's like treated you really well your entire life, but then you lock him in with the CIA and the Nazis who want to kill him.
Okay,
They,
maybe she. I don't think she knows
what?
the Nazis. Oh, does she? I can't remember.
She knows that she knows who she works for, right? She could, because
Mhm.
the reason why she's after this is because she said she was going to sell it to the Nazi, but then she turned it around
Oh,
and she wants to sell it on the auction.
oh, I
So
missed
she
that.
doesn't
Okay,
know that he's a
whoops.
Nazi, but she does know that he's got goons and that he's powerful. I think she knows that the CIA's there.
Wow.
Possibly, I don't know. I don't know if she knows about the CIA, but she knows about the Nazi who wants it.
All right. Yeah. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
but like at that point, the fight's broken out. Like they've got guns, they're pointing them. I think they even shoot them in the scene. So why the fuck does she lock him in there with them?
Mhm. Oh, definitely.
So yeah, if it
And then
wasn't
the
for
blonde guy
Jones, like,
like
mhm.
tips the bookshelves. Or oh, I can't remember. Like,
Okay,
dude,
so
are you
what
trying to
happens
kill?
is Jones, like they try to shoot him. So Jones jumps on the shelves where everything is being stored, knocks them all over, and they land on some
Mhm.
of the goons. And he then tries to escape.
Yeah.
What all those like
Hang on.
ancient
We-
artifacts and shit? They've all now been destroyed. Great,
Yeah. Yeah.
great work there,
Um.
Jones.
Yeah. We missed a bit where he shoots like two teachers in
Yeah.
there,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and
They shot the two teachers.
all right.
Jones comes
So
out. He sees the two teachers shot. He runs
yeah,
to call the police, but then he gets a gun in the back of his head, and he
yeah.
like has to go
I'd
with
like to
them.
point something out. I have a coin I've coined this certain term. I'm gonna use it in the future probably for stories. I call it the anti-plot armor. It's essentially like the opposite of plot armor, where the script really needs to kill someone off, and it does it out of its way, just to thingy for the sake of its own plot. Essentially, it doesn't
Okay.
feel natural. Essentially, it just feels like, oh, okay, that happened, and it's kind of like very out of place. And it happens twice. Like one instance in this
Talking about the
teacher thing,
teachers.
yeah, and there was a second instance
I think
on
it's funny that one of the teachers sees another one get shot and
yeah.
casually walks up to them, says "No," and then he dies. It's like
What
an
was that for?
NPC in like a Skyrim. Oh, like I don't know.
Yeah.
I just remembered what playing Hitman, where you're on the level with the garage and you
Mhm.
walk over, you press the button and it crushes a guy, and
Yeah.
then a guard walks over. It's like, oh no, Jeff! Car slams down, crushes him again. It's it's just the NPC level of intelligence of
Mhm.
seeing someone get shot and then you
Yeah,
walk
definitely.
over to them slowly to try and see if they're all right while you see two people holding guns at you.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, and then he just says, "No witnesses." I'm like, was that necessary? You're the
Yeah, that
CIA. Could
whoa.
well, did
So
it? Can't you
these
just
two
show their fucking
teachers,
badge?
what did they witness so bad that like they had to kill them? They didn't know they were Nazis. They didn't know that they were after Jones or the Dial, or there was literally no reason to kill
No,
them.
exactly.
But
That's
I think
I
that
think
the
another
story wanted
element
Indiana
of the
Jones to be
anti-plot armor,
somehow,
essentially. Yeah.
but they wanted Jones to somehow be framed for murder. So they killed these two off, and for no reason, Jones is
No,
like
no.
on
I don't
the
think that was the
news.
plan
It says,
initially. I don't think they killed them. Okay, we'll frame. I think that was like on a
yeah,
spot
no,
idea.
that it wasn't the plan, but like it is
No.
completely out of the blue that the
Yeah.
news just reports that Jones killed two of his teachers and that he had a depression episode because of his son and wife. Or was his son
Mm.
dying and his wife leaving him.
Oh
On the
god.
upside, Shia LaBeouf is dead in this world, so that's good.
um. Yeah. Yeah. He's a bit on the crazy side, I guess. I think recently he's doing a bit better, you know, off the drugs and alcohol.
I just remember
But I don't know.
you will
I would
not
have liked to see him as a cameo.
he will not divide us, and he starts screaming it in people's ear, and he
Yeah.
assaults one of his own supporters because of misunderstanding.
Oh no.
Oh, that's funny.
I still would have liked
Anyway,
to see him and whatnot make a cameo or whatnot. Just, you know, have a happy Indiana Jones with his son alive and wife.
just
You
say that
know.
he's like off somewhere else. I think that's fine. You don't
Hmm.
need to have bring back Shia LaBeouf.
I don't know.
Surprise.
I would have liked to see them. You know, I would have liked to see like a sneak peek at least. Just like
All right.
original
Okay.
ones.
So
But no,
then
just he's dead.
Jones calls the police. They put a gun to his head. They
Mhm.
then take him out in a van. And the moon landing parade is happening
Yeah,
outside, and everyone's
yeah.
cheering, and they're all happy that we've landed on the moon. And they there's a chase through the parade where because Jones escapes because he goes through a protest riot of people saying that they don't want to go to Vietnam, and he just says they won't enlist me, and then they all start like rambling and saying, yeah, they're not going to take us, we're not going to enlist, we're not going to go to Vietnam, and he uses that as an opportunity to punch one of the guys in the face and go run off. Also, I love
Yeah.
all these hippies who are protesting peace. None of them but an eye to the random assault that's happening in the crowd, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
No one has took a problem with that.
By the way, I just want to go back a little. That scene with the Tita shooting, do you know why it doesn't make sense as well of those shootings? Maybe it's because of the countless reshoots that this film was under, essentially, and someone's that could possibly be a sign of that. Because I don't understand
Could
how you
be.
get something so drastically ludicrous, essentially. Like,
The only reason that they die in the story is so that Jones is framed for murder and that he can't return home and that he has to leave the country to somehow prove that he didn't kill him, and he somehow getting the dial will prove that he didn't commit murder. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense at all. The film doesn't even like fix this. By the way, they don't fix the fact that he's wanted for murder, because he just returns at the end and everything's fine, and Marion's just there. So Marion left him because of the pain of what happened to the son dying in Vietnam.
Show that. That's interesting.
And then she just comes back at the end of the film. She's just there. She's just back now. What she was going through? No, we're just back. At first, I thought that just like Phoebe Waller-Bridge might have ended up using the dial to change history, because they do that. Okay, the one nice scene in this film is if Indy's asked if what would you do if you could go back in time? You know, would you see like the fall of Rome? Like, would you go see like some of the most like prevalent historical events? And he says he would go back in time and tell his son not to enlist, because it'll hurt his mother, it'll hurt his father, and that is, I will admit, that is one nice scene. The acting's nice. There's some nice emotion in it. You can hear the regret in Jones's voice that his son went to war because he knew it would anger him. You know, that's a neat pick right there. That's the only neat pick this entire film has.
Definitely. It was Harrison herself sold it, essentially. Yeah, that was somewhat nice. And maybe they'd pay that off by actually doing that. No.
Because I thought that was setting up that they would change history so that the son wouldn't go and die, and that when Jones returned, he would have a nice, happy family. And it's like, no, that's what was in one of the where it was there before they like change reshoots. Who knows at this point?
And you know what they could have done as well? Like have this like the camera essentially zoom past and zoom in into some sort of archaeological stone, and it's kind of like an Indiana Jones with his hat essentially, and scientists were like scratching their heads like, what the hell is this? What did they mean by this?
One of the things that's really standing out to me about the entire film is that the bad guy looks through binoculars, right? And he knows exactly where the boat is going. Because they went east. North. Yeah.
The
northeast. Okay. No, I think they went west because they went to Sicily, didn't they?
Yeah.
I think they went to Sicily. So he says, "Oh yes, they're going west," and then so somehow by going west, he knows that they went to Sicily. How the fuck?
The end of this movie is
Anyway,
so dumb.
We'll back up. Where were we?
We'll come to that cluster of an ending, which is absolutely nonsensical.
Okay,
I think Jones goes to Salah. Yeah.
He goes to Salah, and I love to see him again. I loved like seeing his family. I suppose that's the second.
They know their history, and like
they mentioned that Jones got his family out of Egypt before the war happened, and that's nice. I like that. And there's a random mentioning of the Suez Crisis, which I thought was weird. Yeah, the moon landing happened this happens in 1959, and the Suez Crisis, because they talk about it like it's so this happened 3 years ago. They talk about the Suez Crisis happened 3 years before this film, and yet they act like it's a big historical event that happened like 60 years ago or 20 years ago.
Ooh, well spotted.
And that's
I know
weird.
nothing about history. So.
He said, when did the Suez Crisis happen to his two kids? And they say, oh, it happened in 1956. And he says, yes, good. I see. I told my kids the history of Egypt. Wait, no, this happened 3 years ago. This is barely history. This is like 9/11 happening 3 years ago, and it's like this is a historical event right here. This is history, right along the sides of the Second World War and almost every other important event. Well, I suppose when you look at it back, now it is like what 20, 24 years. I don't know if I can't count. Anyways, 20 years ago. 20 years ago is more reliable to say that it was a historical event. Oh, 50. Okay, no. Okay, well, I cocked that up then. It's not 3 years. No, wait. 69. Moon landing was 69. What? I'm confused now because first mammoth touched the moon. Oh, no, sorry. I was reading the wrong one. The first object to touch the moon was in 1959. The moon landing was in 69. Okay, no, that's my cock up. Okay, that's my cock up.
Okay.
So it wasn't 3 years ago, it was 13 years ago. But still 13 years isn't that long ago.
So
that's like within that's within the kid's lifetime to call it a historical event.
You'd need to, I don't know, maybe name some event with Cleopatra. Now that would be history, proper history. But I guess baby steps with teaching history.
It's barely relevant. It's a one single line, and so Saul wants to go with Jones when he says he gets a bunch of information that Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
How does he get through the airport? By the way,
I don't know. I don't know because maybe the restrictions weren't as bad back then.
They probably no, they were 9/11. Essentially made airports a nightmare.
Yeah, but there was still what was it, the Dave, not Dan Cooper, was it the Dan Cooper incident? When was that?
Oh, when he jumped off the plane.
Cooper.
You mean?
Yeah,
and with the money and stuff like that. Okay.
DB Cooper. When was that exactly? Oh, that was 1971. Okay, so yeah, it probably would. It's before that. So it probably would be a lot less strict because I know after DB Cooper and after 9/11, the airport got way more strict than it was in the 60s. So it's possible, but we would need to know more knowledge of. We need more knowledge there to try and nail that down. But like Saul's like, I really want to go with the Indy. I miss the adventures, and he's like,
that should have been the output in the like because he.
Why
cares,
did he go with him? He cares about Indy. He wants adventure, and Indy's like, nah, fuck off.
Well,
I don't.
Saul has a family essentially, and he doesn't want them to be in harm's way. And he probably feels bad about the teachers as well. So he'd probably no, you stay here. These guys randomly shoot people for no bloody reason. So you should probably stay, dude. They don't.
So he goes to an auction in Morocco, and he just walks into a private meeting where Phoebe Waller-Bridge is, and all of a sudden, the Nazi walks into the room, and Jones is like, "You're a Nazi." And they're like, no, he isn't a Nazi. He's like, no, you're mistaken. I'm not a Nazi. And Jones like, no, you're a Nazi. What dialogue, people?
Can I just say about the villain of this guy? There is nothing to him. He has like this introduction scene that I guess I keep forgetting parts of this film. Like it was literally, I'm gonna forget about this film in a week. Maybe 5 days. Like it's just blank. Like, but where are you from originally? Like, I'm sorry, was that meant to be like that
was such an intimidating question to make him be like. I get it. He's a Nazi and a racist. But like, why did he go up to this random black person and say, "Where are your people from?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm from like New Jersey."
Bronx.
Or the Bronx or something like that, like somewhere in America. And he's like, no, where are your people from? And the guy's just like really confused.
He said like, where are you from originally? And it's just like, that is a racism.
Racism. And he's like, you should be thankful because I put like stuff on the moon. It's like, what? This is not an intimidating villain. Okay, you can do a racist villain really well, but this is just awkward.
This is just awkward. Like
he isn't intimidating because he's racist. He's just weird.
They were uncomfortable with writing racist dialogue that would sound
wait,
racist.
wait,
So they
I think I
probably kind
remember.
of worded
Did
weirdly.
the CIA black woman with the afro called
Mhm.
the goon Nazis? She called them crackers.
Oh,
I
that's
distinctly
even more
remember that.
interesting. Oh, okay. That
She
is
called them crackers in the
okay.
film.
Um, yeah, yeah. What do I want to say? All right, yeah. So if someone asked me where was I from originally, oh yeah, Poland. I'm proud to be from there. It's just like thumbs up. And then what? You know, would he be just like, oh okay?
Yeah.
Why are you even asking? Like, how is that racist
You know,
to
okay,
ask
so
where someone's from?
just a random. I was once on a date with a lass, and
Hmm.
like, okay, she was black, and but that never
Hmm.
like registered in my head. So
Hmm.
you know the kind of questions that you usually ask on a date. Like, I casually asked without even thinking, "Where are you from?" And she took that as like really offensive. And I didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean it as like she didn't come from the country, because she had like a very
Oh,
thick northern accent. I didn't think that she
oh,
would be from anywhere else, but she took offense to that, and I very much had to try
oh.
and like slow down.
Oh, I feel bad for you. Oh no. What you add
Don't
to
say
stuff in the blur? Yeah. What you add to that is like, are
she
you
was
from the
fine with it
north
afterwards. She
or what?
took
Yeah.
my misunderstanding, but I was thinking like, oh, you're from like the local area, or you're from
Mhm,
down south, or like I don't know,
mhm.
like
Yeah.
because there's like lots of places in England that someone could be from, and I assumed that she was English,
I
and she
swear to
was.
God, it's because of universities that questions that it's not. I get it asked. It's nothing
Yeah,
uncomfortable to answer,
like
and then some weirdos are interpreting this.
I've had my black mate come up and ask me like where am I from? Like when we first met, like it was one of the first
Mhm.
questions that he asked.
It's a normal question. Like and the fact that the villain is like asking it to
It's
establish
like
that
this
he's
normal question. Where are you from? But then he like imposes like, no, where are you from originally? Ah,
dun
we get
dun
it. We get it. He's a
dun.
racist.
Oh my
We got
god.
it, guys.
He's a racist, dude, you know? Yeah, yeah, I got that. Yeah. Oh. By the way, like Mads Mikkelsen is a fantastic actor, but
Oh, he is. Yeah, he's great.
it felt like they did nothing with him, nothing worthwhile. It really isn't memorable. I will again, I reiterate, I will forget about this movie and forget that he was even in it, and it's that's such a shame because he's such a great actor. Um, I guess we are on. Oh, he travels to Phoebe. He somehow finds Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I missed that. What? How
Yeah, in
exactly did he find
Harrison
him?
Morocco, he just walks in to this meeting where everyone's trying to buy the half of the dial.
Hmm.
And he's like, "You
Okay.
stole it from me," and she's like, "Oh yeah, but you stole it from the Nazi." And then it was like, "Oh, and he stole it from someone else." It's called capitalism, dear.
I can't believe they kept that
Why?
line from the trailer. Like,
That's not capitalism. Capitalism
no.
isn't stealing from people. It's like the buying and selling of goods and the private
Yeah.
ownership of the means of production. It's
Yeah.
not stealing things.
Hey, you know that box office
uh,
money, Disney? Yeah, that's called capitalism, essentially. So enjoy that.
no, the definition of capitalism isn't a film that fails in the box office and it's gonna make barely anything back.
At
That's not
least
what
it's
I would
more
call
money
capitalism.
related definition. At least, you know.
It's more money related, yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I don't. Okay, you found her somehow. Um,
Yeah, he
yeah,
finds
yeah,
her,
sure.
and then
How?
we get the scene in which
How does he find her?
the her friend is like learning how to fly with a bunch of pots and pans and stuff, and he's supposed to keep Indy out, but he doesn't, and he just lets Indy walk in there. Indy tries to take it, and it doesn't go well. And yeah, the Nazi shows up, and there's a big action scene. Indy finally gets the dial, and everyone points their guns at him after he starts using his whip. I kind of like that
Yeah.
he used the whip to try and control the room, and I kind of like that
Mhm.
he jumped down to avoid all the bullets. But why didn't they all just, if they were trying to kill him and they saw
Yeah.
him duck down, why do they keep shooting at the wind in the place where he no longer is? They
Uh,
can see that he went down. They can see him on the floor. They can just put their guns and aim it down at him, but they just
Yeah.
they can't be bothered to.
It was done so more for comedy, I guess. But
Yeah.
his you're compromising comedy with the use of a gun. What happened?
So
So Mads gets steals
anyway,
a dial then,
there's
right?
the Nazis get the dial and
Mhm.
they're trying to get it back from them. So they get in some tuk-tuks and they
Uh-huh.
chase
Like you do.
these are some motherfucking tuk-tuks that
Oh,
are very
oh,
like tuk-tuks, the
wait,
fastest vehicle in the world.
wait, hang on. Is the fiance? Yeah, before that chase, is the fiance like arriving to essentially propose his love to Phoebe?
Oh,
Or
so
does that
that
happen after?
happens after the auction scene, but it's before the chase. So at the same
Okay.
time that they want to go catch the Nazi, the fiance says, "Hey, yeah, you said you were going to marry me if I bailed you out
Oh.
of prison," and
Oh,
she's like,
and it's yeah,
"Yeah,
yeah. So
no,
that's used as well to get out of them essentially being arrested by the Egyptian
the
police, right?
cops,
The
no, the
cops.
Moroccan
Yeah, the
police."
Moroccan. Racism is slipping there. Oh no. I don't know why they call them Egyptian for some reason. Probably because of Sella. Um, yeah. So yeah, they specifically have that. What? Just. Oh, what a coincidence that fiance arrives exactly at that time when she's about to get arrested by the cops. You
It's like,
know.
it doesn't add anything either. Like this little conflict that they have got chasing through the streets. So they're chasing the Nazi. That they're being chased by the fiance,
Hmm.
and that's it's all it is an action set piece.
Yeah.
And Phoebe Waller-Bridge, she's not only a thief that doesn't feel bad for stealing things and letting Indiana Jones die
Hmm.
with a bunch of people who are trying to shoot him to death. She just like she's more than happy to lead people on into marrying them to try and bail herself out of jail.
Yeah. How is
She's just
she
a piece of
likable?
shit,
Yeah.
and she's always smug and condescending and a bitch
Hmm.
with the most punchable face I've ever seen in a film.
Hmm. Again, like the film keeps trying to sell her as no, no, just no.
Just like, oh, I'm beautiful, dear, and all the guys turn their heads at her. It's like, no,
How,
no,
how do you rate her Britishness from like on a scale
she's
of
mid at best, right?
yeah, yeah. Uh, like I think like it probably went like this with like the people behind the scene like met her like, oh, she's British, don't you know? Oh, she's so polite and she's so funny, and it's just like, no, she isn't actually, like it, the American filmmakers behind this like probably thought, oh, the British audience would definitely love this. No, not particularly.
Oh, thanks. You represented us with a bitchy, condescending cunt who's a
Yeah.
horrible piece of shit.
Hmm. I mean, British representation
I've
is,
met
is
slags that
going
work
down.
in Tesco's that look more appealing than her.
Oh, that reminds me of the meme. I think it was V that posted it. Is essentially like a picture of like the Fable character essentially. Um, modern women
Oh God,
in video
no,
games
not that.
and
God, she looks like. Okay, funny enough, when your character looks more unattractive than Fiona from Shrek, right?
yeah.
You want to stop.
Hmm. Oh, definitely.
'Cause she looks like a troll. She looks like an actual troll. That
Hmm.
she's that ugly.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
And
definitely.
you can only purposely make someone that ugly. You can't do it by accident.
Hmm. Um, okay, so I'm
But we're getting
quickly
off topic.
forgetting this movie. I'm quickly
All right,
forgetting like the.
so
I'm
we in the
struggling.
tuk tuk chase,
Hmm.
and they get the dial back from the Nazi, and I've forgotten what happens after that. They
Uh, They fix the car somehow with gum.
Yeah, they fix the car with gum. They then go and
That's bullshit.
fly to meet a Spanish frogman,
Yeah.
and I think that's when they go down to the Roman ship that crashed into that
Hmm.
basically broke up in the ocean when the first half of the dial was found, and they use that to get a tablet, which they pull out of they pull out of the boat, and then all of a sudden the eels jump out, and eels, they're like water snakes.
Are
And
they?
then I guess I can see it, I suppose,
What? Why is
but
it covered with eels?
I don't know. Like, okay,
Like,
I'm not a marine
okay.
biologist, but I'm questioning why all the eels in the ocean are in this one specific ship.
Yes, yes. It's like, oh, we gotta have some thingy, dangerous sea life in here. Okay, what about sharks? No, 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 that's too big.
No, we can't
Eels.
have sharks.
Perfect.
Eels.
Perfect. Uh,
And now
I,
I'm just thinking of the eels up inside
I,
you, finding an entrance where they can.
uh,
It's three
it's
anus ears.
but by the way, the ocean is quite big. You know what? I think
Yes.
like sixty
They
percent of the Earth.
find
You
the
know.
boat, the crashed Roman ship, extraordinarily fast. Keep in
I
mind,
mean,
people are given the location of like the Titanic or
mm,
where the Bismarck sank or what, like the sinking of the HMS Hood, and they know the
mhm,
exact locations, but they still have to search around a bit because the ocean is a big place and you can't see much. They
mm,
find that wreck instantaneously, which
like
also begs
snap.
the question: did no one
Hmm.
else just look a little deeper?
Hmm. Like,
Because
how has
it's
this not been found
the
before?
boat
If these
isn't that
nothing,
deep.
yeah. How have not? How has not someone found it even accidentally? If these two losers on a shitty ship found it with some
Yeah.
coordinates, like someone
No
who has
point in
Shana
history did any other archaeologist hear about the Roman ship that was found and thought,
very
let's
easy,
go have a look at it.
yeah,
And
very
then,
easy
hey,
to find.
look, there's another half of it that's crashed down there. Let's go and investigate it.
Mm. This should have been.
So yeah, they find
Yeah.
the dial, also the tablet, but then the Nazis come.
Oh
We
no.
missed the scene where the CIA is like, no, we don't need you anymore because you got us to the moon and you blew off the
Ah.
president and killed 2 Americans, so we're not dealing
Uh,
with you anymore.
all right, right,
And
right,
then
right.
they just
She's
kill the CIA agents.
and the CIA doesn't retaliate throughout this entire movie.
Yeah, the CIA just gives up. They're like,
Uh,
oh well, I guess that's it.
I
They
guess that
killed 2 of
paper.
our guys now, and like that's
How
all that
about you
happened.
just make CIA the bad guys? You know, the CIA doesn't really have any good history behind them. Done
Yeah,
lots
fuck
of
it. Just make the CIA the
yeah,
bad guys of the film.
yeah.
That'd be
Why not?
interesting to try and spin that. Why are we just making a better film? That's all our job is. So yeah, the Nazis like, oh, I'm not uh, Hannes Madu. I am. I'm trying to think of a really German name now.
Schmidt.
I'm Schmidt. I am going to reign for 1,000 years. And yeah, and then they go to the boat, and it turns out that they've killed the Spaniards, and they they put them in a room and they say, read
Oh,
this because
yeah,
it's in a code. And
yeah,
people on the bridge is like, ha, I told you it would be in this specific code, and I know how to read it. You owe
yeah.
me 50 quid. It's
By the
like,
way,
okay.
Antonio Banderas, really good actor, really good voice for Puss in Boots. He can sing, he can do some action scenes. He'd be great for an Indiana Jones movie. Like, I could definitely see him there. He fits like a glove. Nope, just killed. Like,
Mhm.
just like that, gone. Another case of
Oh
the
yeah,
anti-plot
and
armor.
so the guy doesn't want to, like, Indy's like, no, I'm not going to read it for you. And he's like,
Mhm.
okay, and then he shoots the Spanish guy, and the Spanish guy is like, no, I'm Indy, don't do it, don't give it to them. And then he gets shot again and he's killed. And then Phoebe Waller-Bridge
I'm
is
sure
like,
this
"Oh,
is reshoots.
I'm gonna translate it." And it's like, "Oh,
you just
okay."
undid that guy's sacrifice. The fuck are you doing?
And she translates it all to them, but all of the text that's on top means literally nothing because it doesn't have any relevance to the actual location of the tomb. Archimedes' tomb, quotation marks. And
Like as
they
soon as I like hear um like all these like Archimedes and blah blah blah, I'm just so disinterested. I'm like, you've made up Archimedes. You know, you've made up your own history. I don't care if you find the spell or not.
Archimedes was so
Yeah.
amazing, he made time travel and he
Fuck
went to the
off.
future.
Like, literally, could you not just choose like any other real
Also,
life
okay,
history? That would have been
so
so much more engaging.
we know that he went to the future because he had planes drawn and he had a watch on his wrist, right?
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck did he go to the future when you have to go through with a plane? Specifically, Archimedes can't fly.
Mm.
That's interesting, ain't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we're getting
And
ahead.
it turns out that Phoebe Waller-Bridge, she was actually just stalling them because she had some dynamite in her pocket. And she goes around the room and she's so smug and she's so amazing that she's translating this. And then she gets
and
a
she's
cigarette
charmed,
off of,
obviously the German guy as well, because he's like so focused on it and just like,
yeah.
dude,
And then
you see this from a mile away.
she rubs his cigarette ambers onto the dynamite, and that's
Well,
enough to light it. And then she throws it down the hole. I don't know.
How is
I
that
don't.
ship not
It doesn't
sinking?
seem so. Yeah, because they kick it in the hole.
Yeah.
So surely that's going to blow a massive hole in the side of the ship, and it's going to
they're
sink.
dead.
And
They're dead. They're in the middle of nowhere, and they've got a hole in there. No, they're dead. I don't buy that. Unless they have any other CIA friends that they could help, you know. See, no, wait, you killed them actually, so
but then
CIA
they
can't
jump
help you
onto
now.
they jump onto the bad guy's ship and they run away. And
luckily it's fully sealed as well.
Yeah, that's great. And they burn the wax on. It's just like, oh, it's wax and wood, but it's heavy, and then they burn it, and then it's like there's a gold plate underneath, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge wants to sell it immediately, and there's like, oh, well, this is the real place where the tomb is, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge had no way of knowing that inside this wax tablet there would be a gold tablet with the real information on. So for all she knew, she was giving him the real information.
This is just fantastic.
And then the bad guy knows that they're going to Sicily because that he saw them go east. No, wait, they went west. He said, "Oh, they're not going east; they're going west," and that means they immediately know where they're going. They go to Sicily.
Bullshit.
They find a cave. They climb up some cliffs, and they go through some stuff. There's some bullshit stuff later with methane and water displacement. They then go into the tomb. They find Archimedes' tomb, and he's wearing a watch. And inscribed on the side of his tomb are some planes, and he's holding the other half of the dial. And just as they get the other half of the dial, the Nazis come, and they're like, "Thank you, Mr. Jones." And then they start shooting up the place, and they put the dial together. But Jones is shot
through the chest.
But for some reason, okay, so it's like it's above his collarbone. Like kind of like more towards his arm, perhaps. So like, okay, no, but like he should be bleeding out.
On that note, it was full, but no, it was definitely horrible.
He's shot through the arm. He's not treated at all for being shot in the arm. He's just bleeding out for the rest of the film, and like he doesn't pass out. He doesn't get infected or anything like that.
I'm pretty sure there's like a lung there or something. You know.
The fact that he goes through the entire fight on the plane and everything without needing treatment for his bullet wound, but then the moment the plane, but the moment he runs into Archimedes, he's like low on blood and he's about to pass out.
Mm.
Okay, that's okay. He's just bleeding for ages.
By the way,
and then
before
they go. Mhm.
there's a scene where the big hench guy essentially cuts himself to the kid, right? And there's a big
Oh
action
yeah,
scene of him essentially the kid getting in the river, and he
they
cuts
fall
him
into the
to like some
water
grate.
and
Yeah.
they cuff him to some underwater grate.
And then all of a sudden he just learns to swim when he said he couldn't before. Oh,
Oh shit, you're right. He said he couldn't swim.
exactly. Yeah.
They just...
And he just repeats what Antonio Banderas said, like just him about swimming, essentially. Bull fucking shit. All right. If someone just told me like some little instructions on how to swim, and then I just did it, could do what he told me, I guess. Then I can sort of swim. It's just fucking bullshit. No, I'm
you
still
can
pissed
swim
that they killed him
against
off.
a very fast water flow.
Stupid. No, that kid's dead.
I'm pretty sure even like
they
a
should have
trained
killed Antonio
athlete swimmer
Banderas.
wouldn't be able to swim against a water current of that magnitude.
Literally. Antonio Banderas over Phoebe Waller-Bridge any day of the week. He should have been so much more.
Anyway, so they take Jones. Why does he take Jones? Like, why not just kill him? He has no reason to need him alive.
That's
he shoots Jones. He's like, take Jones with us, and they go to an airstrip, and on the airstrip are a bunch of Nazis in uniform.
Because we have to emphasize that,
World War II plane.
Yeah.
The idea of the Nazi antagonist having a bunch of contacts that he knew, let's say in Germany, that used to be Nazis that have resources. That's fine, right? Mm-hmm. You've kind of got a bit of a Hydra thing going on there, but especially with like the CIA and all that stuff. But they don't do anything with it. They're just there. They're just Nazis on this airbase, and they have a World War II Nazi bomber.
Yeah. Yeah. There's this. Maybe he had some contacts there in Argentina. I mean, Hitler could still be alive, Maybe you could ask him for advice.
Well, they were in Sicily, so I don't know why there's a bunch of Nazis just hanging about in Sicily. Wait a minute.
Exactly.
Wait. Why do they have a wait? So that they don't know from the start that Jones is going to Sicily, right? They have no idea that they're going to Italy.
Yeah. So and it was in some tourist cave as well, by the way.
Why? So, in a tourist cave.
So why have they not found this thing before?
No. But not only why haven't they found this before, but why did he have like a Nazi plane and a bunch of Nazis ready to go on a moment's notice?
Oh no, that's definitely a flaw.
Yeah, because he had no intention, no idea that they were even going to this place, and all of this is ready.
They're headed east with binoculars. That's stupid. That is stupid. That little. This, I think it's.
I know exactly where they're going because they're going west.
Yeah. I think it's a huge sign of reshoots, essentially, and
yeah, and they do it with like the map. So they're going on the map, and like they just show his face on the map, and he's like, "They're going west, not east."
I just found that so funny, like so absurd. Like, oh yeah, Indiana Jones scene. There's just like this little piece of dialogue in between doing some exposition.
Yeah, so they bring Jones on the plane. The guy, the kid goes in a plane and he starts flying. He's never flown before, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge uses a bike to get into the landing gear of the wing of the plane, and then she uses that to climb through the wing and into the plane itself. Fine, I guess. Like it's an action scene.
Time in movies, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty standard by now. We've seen it 1,000 times. But then so they go towards the time hole
right. Okay. So that's interesting that it does that. It makes a time hole.
It makes a hole in time. Yes. Basically,
And
it's like red. It's Red Dwarf. They come across a time hole.
Oh, by the way, this does remind me, right? We've skipped over this bit a little bit because it's this was long beforehand in the movie of Jones essentially being a strict sciencey guy throughout this film. Like he tells Armin Zola, um, it's gotta be it's gotta be this and this proof, otherwise it's not science. You know, I kind of like what they did with Armin Zola, him, essentially being obsessed and bloody blah. But don't make Jones this like you need scientific proof, atheist glasses and whatnot. Because he has seen crazy stuff beforehand. That's not the type of character that
he has
should be.
seen
He should be kind
voodoo. He has seen the Ark of the Covenant melt people's faces off. He has seen aliens.
Yeah,
and
he should
seen
be.
the holy fucking grail.
Yeah, he should be more so worried for his friend rather than the science of it.
You can instantly improve this story by making it more personal to Jones by the fact that one of his friends gets caught up in all this, right? And that's the reason why he's on this journey, not because of the dial itself.
Yeah, and this dial, I have no idea how this thing works. How did a freaking guy from
well, he was
Rome
clever, right? He was such a great mathematician. He created a dial which could time travel people. Archimedes was just that brilliant.
No, this is bullshit. This is
So anyway,
hang on. Wait. What about Actually, let's move on. We'll get to that scene.
Okay, so
I think what they're implying in there is like a paradox. Yeah, the time hole that somehow makes a time hole doesn't just how would you figure out that makes a time hole? What?
I don't know.
Why are you on a plane? Why did you assume that would make a time hole?
How do they know how this works? How do they know?
No one's used it before.
How do they know that they needed a plane to fly up into the sky to fly through the time hole? How did they know this wasn't just something that would be on the floor? Or, I don't know, be something in which you could walk through, or maybe it just transports everywhere around you. Who knows how this fucking thing works? And they just know that they need a plane to fly through it. How do they know the plane's too big? How do they know if maybe the plane? I don't know. They know nothing about this.
How do they know if the person who presses it just teleports himself, just one person?
Yeah.
How do they know if? It's so stupid. There's so many ways it could go wrong with this time travel device.
So Jones says, Archimedes, he was a brilliant mathematician, but he didn't know about continental shift. Don't you see? We're not going back so you can kill Hitler. We're going somewhere that isn't Germany. And then the villain's like, oh no, Archimedes didn't know about continental drift. You're right, turn around. And
they don't turn around.
And they don't. They just go straight through the time hole. And it's like, so how does continental shift affect time travel? Because I can understand how continental shift could perhaps mean it so you end up physically in somewhere else when you're intended
like
to be.
Inside a wall.
Like inside a wall, or perhaps you end up on the other side of the world. But then if we're taking into account continental shift, why aren't we then taking into account the rotation of the planet? Why aren't we taking out the movement of the planet as it rotates around the sun? Why aren't we taking into account the movement of the sun as it rotates around the galaxy while the galaxy is traveling at 45 billion kilometers a second or something crazy? It then invites a lot of other questions, but we're going with the fantasy of the time travel. But I don't get how Archimedes not knowing about continental shift means that time travel sends you 2000. How does math fuck up this badly that continental shift means that you travel 3,000 years before your intended date? They were only intending to travel back 30 years?
30 years?
Like 30 years. They traveled because they were trying to get back to the 1930s or something, or maybe 1940. So maybe 20 years. I don't know. I'm going to say 30. They only want to travel back 30 years.
Mhm.
And yeah, how does 30 years and continental drift mean that they end up 3,000 years ago?
Hmm. No, it's my brain is turning to freaking a slushy. No, I this whole no, this is just stupid. This whole time travel debate is
Sorry,
stupid.
it's not 3,000 years. It's 2,000 years.
Okay.
2,300
Why
years.
why make it a dial, by the way?
I don't
Why
know.
not some sort of gate somewhere
Or,
where you
I don't
can't
know.
move it essentially?
Because
Why not?
that's also weirder. I think. Like, just time travel itself being invented by fucking Archimedes is weird.
Yeah. Why is that? No. What I would have done, right, is just to get it into as a gate, essentially, and you time travel essentially in the same
Anyway,
place to what time period you want.
I just
Like,
wouldn't
yeah,
use
you
time
wouldn't touch
travel.
time travel, but if you had to, you'd obviously make it a gate. That's the most easiest way to do it, because otherwise,
So
if you have like a dial, like, it's all just fucking confusing. I don't know.
so
Would have solved a lot of problems.
they fly through the time hole and they end up what was it in like 200 BC with Archimedes and like the Romans laying siege to Sicily, and like they're using metal to try and let the ships alight. Like you saw the mirrors and everything,
Mhm.
uh, and yeah,
Oh, 200 BC. Oh, god damn it, just short. I would have stayed there too. Maybe wait till like Jesus' birth. So confirmed. Yes, he
so
was
the
white.
plane
Twitter.
sees
I knew
all these
it.
Roman ships laying siege to Sicily,
Yeah.
and for some reason they think, "Wow, let's go closer," and they fly really close for no reason
Hmm. Yeah.
to this battle,
That.
and the
Yeah.
Romans open fire on the ship on the plane, and it
Thinking it's
causes
a
it
dragon.
to yeah, and that causes it to fuck up.
Okay.
They're crashing because
Wait.
of it.
Wait. They're shooting arrows and stuff at it, right? Or like
Yes.
crossbows. Would that
Um,
do much to a plane? Like
I think they
maybe
were
like an arrow's
using.
not.
I'm trying what it's called now. It's like a big crossbow. Big.
A ballista, maybe, or something like that.
I
I can't
think they were
remember.
using ballistas. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So why you? What?
We don't see the
What made
arrows
them
being
think?
shot.
You
We
know,
just see massive arrows.
yeah. What made them think? You know what? They have those ballistas. Let's fly really low.
And I think it's funny that they just they're flying over the battle. They don't have to. They can the moment they realize that why don't they just head back? Because they realize that they're in the wrong place way before they even get close to the battle, and they're flying perfectly fine. But they just fly closer to it. And even after that, like they're taking damage, they still don't leave. For some reason, the Nazis get out their guns and start firing at the Romans.
It's just why? Why? Why are you doing this? Do you have like literally like maybe it's like the Nazi uniform, you know, you're like instantly evil over
Don't they?
5,000 and you just shoot random people.
Hey, there's some Romans here. Let's go shoot them.
Oh my god. School shooter powers activate. Let's just shoot them. Why? Why are you so stupid?
Yeah,
Why?
the
I
fucking
mean, this
Nazis were
agent was
brain dead.
always trigger happy, so I guess
Yeah,
it's just
he's just very trigger happy. Fine, I guess.
yeah. Let me just shoot some.
And then
I listened
they
to a bit of the open bar that made a good point about this. Like, why on earth would you shoot any of these guys? Some of them could be your ancestors. Like some of them,
they're too dumb to think about that.
literally anything you could do just could affect the future in a very
Yeah,
dramatic
you
way.
kill the wrong person in this time period. All of a sudden, that could be a whole
Napoleon doesn't
generation that you've
exist,
like
or
wiped out.
freaking who's a Italian leader of some sort. Like I don't know, just got killed because of you because he killed his ancestor. It's just good God. It's just shouldn't they have thought of this beforehand? Like okay, we have to be very careful you know, because we're going to time. Yeah,
Yeah,
we are
we're
trying to
going
to
through
kill Hitler.
history. Remember, don't shoot any of your ancestors. Well, they were only planning on going like 30 years back to the
Yeah.
Second World War.
I
So
guess they didn't think
it's
about that, you know. They didn't have like a brief, like a team brief, you know. Okay, the rules of time travel. Don't make yourself win the bingo lottery card. Like, come on, dude, that's just unfair. Let's just focus on the test in the hand.
I
Let's
still
not
think it's
affect it in dramatic
hilarious
ways.
that
Yeah,
the whole
yeah,
motivation of the villain is that he wants to go and kill Hitler to take his place so that he can win the Second World War.
yeah.
That's
Killing
his
Hitler.
plan.
Yeah, yeah.
And I genuinely want to know what he thinks is going to win the war suddenly.
Mm.
Like, I want to know. I want to know seriously. Like,
okay,
what is his
how
plan?
would he win the war? What is his plan? Yeah,
Oh
would he
yeah,
just
like so. All of a sudden, Germany's going to win from crushing defeat. I wonder the exact year actually that they were planning on going back in time. I think they
right
mentioned it in the film, but I
from
don't remember it because
right?
in using the exact year, we can know exactly how fucked Germany was beyond like saving.
Oh, that is.
Because the
Shiny,
moment
you are genius. Yes, yes,
the moment
that is.
Normandy happens, Germany is fucked, right? They're
Yes.
fighting a war on two fronts, and
Mhm.
they were ultimately conned into thinking that an invasion was coming somewhere else.
Mhm.
Like they thought it was coming from Dieppe, and then they got once they were in France, like there was no stopping them essentially, as well as
Yeah.
him having to hold off the Russians
How-
who were now advancing. So it's
How do you win the world war as
I
Germany?
don't
You kill
know.
Stalin, maybe?
I
I don't
guess
know.
what you don't do is declare war on Russia while in the middle of it's like, of trying to fight Britain and well, no, America wasn't in the war at this point when he declared war on Russia. Basically, don't try and bite more than you can chew. That's how you win the war.
Mads Mikkelsen plan is done way better in the Justice League episode, Savage Time.
Yeah, because he
In that Savage
uses advanced
yeah,
technology.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're
And
right.
Germany
That
already
Justice
had
League
a, I
episode.
think, yeah. I completely forgot. Violetta, that's a brilliant callback. I completely forgot about that episode. Yeah, that's a good one. They could have done much more of this, but essentially that's
Yeah,
another
why
proofing point that
if
it's
he
stupid.
really wants Germany to win, why doesn't he come back with blueprints and shit? That's an excellent point, actually.
Yeah.
Hey,
No,
look,
I will kill Hitler and
I've
I
come
will rule
back with the
Germany.
blueprints for a Sidewinder missile. Hey,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, we've got this amazing thing. It's called the Harrier jump jet.
Okay, and we know where each army will be at what time and blah 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 at this time period. So you've got to have
Yeah,
reinforcements
the
here.
only
Like
explanation they
nothing
give for
like
how he
that.
plans to win the war is that I know every blunder Hitler was because I did because I was there, and I'm not going to repeat them. It's like, okay, no, but you can bring back some real technology. Okay, bring back like good missiles that you can reproduce. Bring back blueprints for them. Bring back like jets that you can deconstruct and make advanced new ones with blueprints and shit. Because you're in like the CIA, right?
Yeah.
You've got access to shit from NASA. Surely you could like you should have the resources and the knowledge and the technology to take some of that shit and take it back in time, and all of a sudden you've made like the V1 missile program 10 times better.
You could even make a freaking rocket ship to the moon. Think
I'm
how
not, I
could
wouldn't
that
go
be
that advanced
demoralizing?
in terms of
I mean,
because
given
like
to
it's
Germany.
not just the blueprints, it's the
Yeah.
amount of resources it requires. So
Yeah.
like in the middle of the Second World War, I'm not sure Hitler's just going to go, well, I guess we're going to go to the moon.
But yeah, that would be like very demoralizing for Americans
there are
as well.
so many
you know?
other things this villain could do with the amount of resources that he has, and like the access to CIA stuff and NASA blueprints, and he's just like, yeah, I'm not going to bother with any of that.
Yeah.
You know what? He doesn't even need to bring back like one. He can go back and forth in time and ferry advanced technology into the past. Like this guy doesn't think of anything.
All right. What it's funny to me is like his death. So he just dies in a plane crash. That's it. It's very
Yeah, he just
anticlimactic.
so
You know.
the plane. So they jump. Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Indy jump out of the plane and parachute down, and the plane crashes on the beach. And the plane scares away all the Romans, and they run away. And Archimedes runs out onto the bridge, and he finds the dead Germans, and he finds the dial. And he sees that Jones and Phoebe Waller-Bridge are also on the beach, so he runs over to them. They kill a Roman that tries to kill Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Indy, and Indy's like, "Oh my god, it's Archimedes! This is amazing. We're in history." And like he starts to
All right.
seem like genuinely amazed of like history, and that's an interesting thing to have. Okay, an archaeologist spent his entire life digging up history, and he now gets to see it with his own eyes.
But
And Indy's his entire life, he's been miserable. Well, not his entire life. His life currently is miserable. His son's dead. His wife left him, etc., etc. But like he seems genuinely really excited at the prospect of living through history. He really wants to be there. But Phoebe Waller-Bridge says, "Yeah, no," and punches him in the face.
But before we get to that part, right?
Okay, what have I skipped over?
The thing is, like, Archimedes essentially gets his dial back from the Germans, right? Because you can see one scene where he's just like he's stuck, he's not really finished it, and I think what they're implying it that is like a paradox. So, okay, so
it's the bootstrap paradox,
right? So he's not really that brilliant now, is he? Now, but okay, there had to be a time where he actually did it by himself in order for this paradox to work, right?
Yes.
I don't buy that he did that.
I don't know. Look, we're thinking about much more than the film thought about it.
This is bullshit history. Like, whenever I hear his name, I just like, you made that up. Like, this is nowhere near as interesting as real history, which is something you should have definitely used. Like, Uncharted does that. They use plenty of real history. I don't know why they couldn't in here. Like, it just seems like fan fiction. Feels
this entire time, I was just thinking, wow, I would really want to play like a Tomb Raider game right now.
I was thinking, I really want to watch an Indiana Jones movie. It's funny because I was watching a movie titled that. Yeah. So yeah, I suppose
I love how like he genuinely has like he's retired. He's wanted by the police. If he's wanted for murder, apparently, which still makes no fucking sense, but that's what the film says anyway. And his wife left him. He's got no son anymore. Like he's nothing. He has literally nothing, and this is the one thing that he seemed genuinely happy about. Right?
Yeah.
And Phoebe Waller-Bridge just punches him in the face and say, "Yeah, no, you're not staying in here in history."
But then again, that was him asking him to die, essentially, because he was not going to survive with that gun wound.
Yeah, he was. Well, he's been bleeding out for like the last hour from a gunshot in his shoulder.
And he was like, "Let me die." It's just, oh, shut up. It's just it's all stupid. The thing is, what surprised me as well is they speak the language. And it's like I was a little confused. I'm like, bullshit. Can you make full sentences with that? I mean, maybe you could know some, but what language is it? But it's 200 BC.
Archimedes. Speak.
Oh, good. You're googling this.
I'm googling this. What?
Yes.
So he's speaking in Doric. Oh, sorry. Archimedes. The works of Archimedes were written in Doric Greek, the dialect of ancient Syracuse. So
bullshit. Could you make full sentences with that? What the fuck is even that?
Yeah, that's
I doubt they could hold a conversation. Like bull fucking shit.
Yeah, but they hold a conversation perfectly. Both of them do.
Indiana Jones, maybe. Phoebe. No. Sorry. No, I don't buy. No, I don't buy it for either of them. to be honest. No.
So they leave a crashed World War II plane in the middle of Sicily. Was it 2,200 years ago?
Mhm.
And
None
they
of the
just
archaeologists find it.
they just up and leave, and they're back in the when Jones wakes up, he's back in his apartment, and he's like, "There's nothing for me here. Why the fuck did you bring me back? I'm miserable." And
Mhm.
Mariam just comes back, and she's there. Why? She just is.
Mhm.
What Indy's wanting for murder? Well, they don't explain. They sort that out.
FBI, open up! They don't give us
Saul
any
comes
stuff.
back with his kids,
Oh,
and
that's
he's
nice.
like, "Let's go get some ice cream." And they're like, "Oh yeah!" And he starts singing the British tar is a soaring soul as free as a mountain bird. And he starts singing, and he
That's nice.
leaves. And then the moment between Mariam and Indy, but like it's so undeserved. Crystal Skull
Yeah.
fucking earned a better scene between them in their fucking ending, because the
Mm.
scene was like the entire film was about their relationship essentially,
Mhm.
as they tried to find the Crystal Skull, and then they had his could be possibly son, Shia LaBeouf, always around.
Yeah.
It
How
is
about just give
so
him? Ah, it's just stupid.
they. This film is so nothing. Like that is we've described the entire film,
Mhm.
and it nothing of substance happens.
Yeah, I
They they
didn't.
they. That's it.
I felt nothing throughout this, and I don't. It's like
I felt
product.
bored.
Yeah, I was never bored with the old indie movies, from what I remember. That I'm gonna watch them again now, and I just this movie did nothing for me. Uh, I don't think it'll do anything. It's just
It doesn't
watching,
have the
making me watch this.
adventure
Yeah.
of like the first film
Mhm.
or the second, and it doesn't have like the really nice like father son relationship that the third film had.
Mhm.
And
You
and
could
then
have
like
done that, like literally. You could have just done Last Crusade again. Maybe recast Shia LaBeouf and literally do
you know,
Harrison Ford and the new Indiana dynamic.
I'm gonna have to rewatch Crystal Skull because I genuinely want to go back at it and see like
Yeah,
compared to the absolute shit we got,
yeah.
like how good is it?
I
And
doubt it
also,
was.
just I'm looking at
Yeah.
the screen. This is music by John Williams. I love how
Mhm.
John Williams constantly says, "This is the last thing I'm gonna do," and then he comes back again.
Yeah. I mean, the poster's nice at least.
Mm.
That's all I can say.
The posters. Okay, you've got Indy, you've got Phoebe Waller-Bridge, you've got the Frogmen there. But then the Frogmen play such a tiny role in the entire film.
Mm.
So why the fuck are they there? The
Yeah.
kid, he's in the background for some reason next to the Spanish Frogmen. Then
Mhm.
you've got the CIA and the goons. The CIA woman plays basically. She's in the film for none of it. She's in it until Morocco, and then she gets shot.
Yeah.
She,
Um. Yeah.
you could remove her from the film, and nothing would change. I don't know. How does that deserve being on the cover? Maybe she originally had a larger role in before some of the reshoots. Who knows? But like, as far as I can remember, we've described the entire film, and we've skipped through some of the action sequences because
Mhm.
not many plot points happen in them.
Yeah.
Nothing
Um.
happens.
Yeah. Nothing happens, and nothing is also happening at its box office. Uh. They spent 329 million.
Okay,
That's.
so I'll add to this now. So this
Mhm.
is the film's initial budget, and
Okay.
one thing that anyone who knows about behind the scenes of film budgets,
Mhm.
the initial budget, uh, they never stick to it. It always runs over budget,
Mhm.
always.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, okay. So you're
and
saying it
and
was even
also
more.
yes,
Oh.
so it can, especially when you've got a production nightmare where you've got tons of reshoots. The reshoots are costly.
Yeah.
It costs you to go out and film all this stuff again, and then you've got a bunch of stuff that you've shot that you can't use anymore, and that's a waste of money. Uh, especially if they've already started using post-production on those sequences. And on top of that, you have the film's marketing, in which a common rule of thumb is that if you want to know the film's marketing, you just take the film's budget and you double it.
Yeah. Try not
They'll
to see
spend
it.
way. The common thread is that they'll spend way more on marketing than they will the budget of the film.
Yeah. I didn't waste my money on this movie. Did Indy have any work? No. No.
No, no. Again,
Hope that answers your question.
The two neat picks of the film are Indy got Saul's family out. Was it before the Second World War? And what else? Oh yeah, and there's a nice scene between Indy and Phoebe when Phoebe asks, "What would you change if what historical event would you go to if you could go back in time?" And he says, "I'll stop my son from enlisting because that's what ripped my family apart." And that's a nice little
that
scene.
He cares about his son. Yeah.
And also, especially like how much is weighing heavily on him, especially with how it's affected him and his wife. So those are the two nice little neat picks in the film. And then I'd say possibly the best part of the film is the flashback sequence, but it's like we've had better. Like we've had better Indiana Jones sequences in the other films, so you may as well watch the other films.
This film shouldn't have been made. I mean, Spielberg quit. You know, that should have been a massive red flag. I know he didn't make Crystal Skull. I know he made a Crystal Skull, but I think this movie would have been much better with him. I don't know who wrote it.
Oh shit! Yeah, Spielberg's not even in the credits of this film. He's it's directed by James Mangold,
who's
bloody hell
a very talented director. He did Ford vs Ferrari, fantastic film. He also did Logan, which is also fantastic, but miserable to watch. But yeah, but I feel like Lucasfilm is definitely like essentially like a machine. Like it doesn't matter what director and whatnot you put into it, you're just going to get product by the end of it. And Kathleen Kennedy's track record with directors is just massive. Like so many projects that weren't even made or done just because the director had, a spine and wanted to tell their story, creative differences and whatnot. It's either she gets away or the director.
The solo films, the original directors got thrown off of that because they had creative differences, quotation marks.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's
there was also some of the
Rogue One.
Rogue One, was there a change in Rogue One?
Massive. I think Gareth Edwards first directed it, the guy who did the first Godzilla, and he's about to do like this new movie I'm forgetting the name of. The creator. He's also
I thought Gareth Edwards was I thought he was the director of the film.
He was, but last minute.
Yeah, he's quoted as the director of being a director of Rogue One.
Yeah, but last minute they did change it to someone else. When the film was already shot and done and made, they did change it last minute to I can't remember who, some corporate guy. I'm pretty sure he was let go. During like literally the end stages of the film being made. Just really stupid. The new trilogy of sets for Benioff and Weiss, they were meant to make a trilogy of movies, a trilogy. They backed out.
Yes.
I can't remember if they backed out or not.
Well, for whatever reason, they didn't make it. My theory behind that is that they jumped off Game of Thrones thinking that they were going to work on Star Wars, and then because Game of Thrones flopped so hard in the end season, Lucasfilm wanted nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
And I also think my theory with who's the guy that directed TLJ?
Rian Johnson.
Rian Johnson. That's it. Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson was originally supposed to get his own trilogy, but I honestly think that the response to TLJ, that's what killed it, despite how much people still declare that, oh my god, Ryan Johnson, he's going to get his trilogy of films. It's still happening, guys, because there was that one. I sort like it's been a while since I've heard it, but I remember like last year that there were still people claiming that the film was happening because this one lass had an interview with Ryan Johnson and like said, "Oh yeah, I'm just busy. That's why I haven't made it. I'm just too busy. I'm too busy to make a Star Wars film, guys."
Busy making shitty Netflix movies, you know. But going back to this, do you think? Well, given Lucas's film terrible track record that we briefly mentioned, do you think this will be the final coffin in the nail for Lucasfilm?
Nail in the coffin, you mean?
Yeah.
They don't put coffins in nails. You put nails in coffins.
Okay. Jeez. I was trying to get to say it right. All right, I tried. Because this 130 million that it made at the weekend, right? They're gonna make half of that, or maybe a little less than half next weekend, and then that's gonna keep decreasing essentially.
Yep, it's gonna keep going down. They are not going to make back the money. Here's my thing: they not only have to break even, they have to quadruple their profits because it's an investment, right? So they have to show that all this time and money is producing something good. So when if you put all this time and money and resources into something and you only get a tiny amount of profit back, that is not enough. So no matter what, this film is a massive disappointment to Lucasfilm. But again, you can't only just look at the initial budget. You have to look at the reshoots, which we don't get given the numbers for the reshoots, and we don't get given the numbers for the marketing. All we get is the numbers for the original budget, which it's going to be way bigger. I would actually speculate that the film's actual final budget was probably something around 500 million. That's my rough educated guess. And then you'd probably have another 500 million for marketing, depending on how hopeful they were with this. They might have just wanted to pull back the marketing. I don't know. I didn't actually see much marketing for this film.
Me either, to be honest.
But that's partly because I have ad blocker and I don't actually pay attention to advertisements.
Yeah, but normally it's like you see something on buses everywhere. You know, I know there was a lot of for John Wick, for instance, and whatnot. But yeah, kind of silent.
Yeah,
I hope this teaches them a lesson to fuck off.
They need to make a lot of money back from this. They need to make a lot of money, and they're not going to make any money with this.
Exactly, and Disney right now is bleeding money. They do not need another flop on their hands with Pixar and what else flopped as well. Crap, I can't remember what other movies Disney released. There was Elemental,
Little Mermaid.
Yes, that was what I was thinking of. Little Mermaid, exactly that.
I think Disney is probably treading water right now in terms of their films. Disney parks, and they're probably still making a majority of their income, but the films probably aren't making nearly as much as they want them to.
All right, so with that being said, please God, just let some people, let some heads roll at Lucasfilm, because good God, their entire story group, their freaking producer, everyone needs to go. Everyone needs to go there. Not just Kathleen.
Do you think Jim Cox finally going to be right after he's declared for the 30th time that Kathleen Kennedy's fired?
I think she will get fired when she leaves. I don't.
I'm thinking that. So my theory as the reason why she hasn't been fired is because right now she's absorbing all the blame, and she's in a position that no one else wants to be in, because if she leaves, then someone else has to come along and they take the blame now. Like, so let's say if Doomcock was right and George Lucas came back, or Favreau took control of Lucasfilm, all of a sudden, if Lucasfilm keeps making flops, Favreau is now basically like he gets all of the fall.
Whereas,
he
holds the shit after the shit.
However, so Kathleen Kennedy is likely not to be got rid of until the company starts doing well. And when the company starts doing well again, then she'll be let go, or they'll keep her on. But no one is going to want that hot seat when the company's in a down flop.
Yeah, that's a good point, because not only are you firing Kathleen, you need to find actually someone competent.
Yeah,
and I guess they can't be asked.
You've got to remember how this like company politics works. In that it's all about like status, and no one wants to fall essentially.
Yeah.
For this, they don't want to seem like they're the ones who are fucking it up. So it's easy just to let Kathleen Kennedy keep running things. Though, in my suspicion is that Disney might possibly be interfering more, but obviously we don't know the behind the scenes, because I can't see how they can't. They look at this and think this is fine. We're not going to do anything.
We don't need to fire anyone. Like bull fucking shit. You're doing something wrong. You need to fire like a whole bunch of people for this.
I just think
this
they
was
need to
meant
stop
be
making. Okay, here's my thought.
Yeah.
Stop making Star Wars. Stop making anything, because
Yeah.
like
For at least
if they
a
never
couple of
made
years, can you
this
manage
film,
that?
like Indiana Jones is preserved, right? You have the 3 films, the 3 of them, no more. And all of a sudden, those are preserved, and they can never be changed. They don't add on to them. There's not too many of them. The love for them is more that you leave people wanting more, right? That's what you want. But if you constantly keep drumming out more sequels and spin-offs, and you keep giving people more shit that they don't want, all of a sudden you're creating so much clutter everywhere, and you're degrading people's love and nostalgia for these old products.
Yeah, exactly.
These
Hollywood
old
doesn't know
films.
how to hold these things. Like, if you absolutely have to make a
Because
fucking
they
sequel,
look at things.
think about it at least, for God's sake. Don't
The
just blow your loads. Like,
the unsustainable part of Hollywood, at least from my perspective, is that they don't look at films as a long-term investment. They look at films as a short-term investment. They don't think about if they make good films that they're going to make more money back in the long run. They keep thinking we need to lower the amount of money that we're spending on films and pump them out faster, which is why we constantly. So, for example, taking Marvel. Marvel is just about getting those films out as fast as possible. They don't care how shit the writing is. They don't care how shit the visual effects are, because they know the film will still make tons of money. Like
it's Marvel.
Because it's Marvel and it's hot. It's a hot property, and they couldn't care. They're not thinking about the long term. But little do they realize, in that if you constantly just shit out bad stuff with bad visual effects, with terrible writing, that people are just going to stop caring. They're going to be fatigued, as we've been experiencing Marvel fatigue for quite some time now. But there's still a lot of people in general audiences who will go and watch Marvel films.
Yeah. In a nutshell, hopefully there's some firings in the coming weeks. I mean, they have to see.
Hopefully they just shut down Lucasfilm and they don't do anything with it. Okay, here's my thing, right?
That'll be the best ending.
Do a George Lucas, stop making stuff yourself and just outsource it to game studios and outsource it to like people making books. And for whatever you do not give any more books to Chuck fucking Wendig, for the love of God.
Yeah.
He can't write to save his ass.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And on that bombshell, I guess we'll finish it off there. It was great to have you.
So it was Jeremy Clarkson here for a second.
Thank you for recognizing that. You know what? That is going to be my official outro from that. On that bombshell, I'm gonna keep that.
And on that bombshell, good night.
Yeah, literal bombshell, because we're looking at one right here. Yeah,
now, a bombshell I think still has too much of a positive connotation to describe this film. I think a train wreck is too much of a positive connotation to give this film.
It's kind of like an empty husk that's on a train that fell off like a cave, and then fell. No, fell off a
Indiana
cliff.
Jones and his film full of nothing.
Yeah, just freaking take inspiration from freaking Uncharted, not the movie, the games. Like
just don't do anything. Leave it alone.
like
Oh,
a
oh
part
God,
of
they're
me.
making a oh, what was the other film that they're making now? Well, no, they already made the Willow TV show, didn't they?
No,
Ah,
yeah, but Bomb's
shit.
that as well. Yeah,
Ah,
it bombs
shit.
as
I
well.
forgot about that.
They pulled it off of
they,
Disney Plus, don't you know?
they took all. Wait, they did.
Yeah, they pulled it
I
off of
love
Disney
how
Plus.
they are digging into every single Lucasfilm IP to try and make money, but they just can't
They
because
just
all the
can't.
shit that they own, like they've already brought it out now. They brought Willow out of the closet. No one cared about Willow anymore, but they tried. Um, they brought back Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm. It's quite a sad day for Indiana Jones fans. And yeah, I really do hope there'll be some consequences behind the scenes for this, because this
We need like
can't go
some
on.
Men in Black
Yeah,
scanner things, just to say
yeah,
this film doesn't exist.
yeah. Your contract is terminated.
There is no Dial of Destiny in Ba Sing Se.
I understood that reference. Yeah. Shiny, would you like to tell the people where they can find you and whatnot?
I am Shiny Effects. I'm a visual effects artist who uses my skills to create reviews of films that I want to shit on because I hate them. And my current projects and on my channel currently entail reviewing Into the Spider-Verse because I have a lot of things to say about that film and not all of them positive. What else am I reviewing? I for some reason my scripts are out of order. 1 second. So I'm reviewing Across the Spider-Verse.
Mhm.
I'm reviewing Picard season 3.
Mhm.
Oh, they're organized by name. That's why what? That's modified. The fuck? What happened to my script? I was wondering why they were all over the place.
Mhm.
Okay, 1 second. Here we go. So yeah, Across the Spider-Verse, Picard season 3, the Orville season 3. I'm reviewing that as well. Jedi Survivor. That's a pretty late script as well. And Halo 4, and
Oh,
that is
interesting.
essentially those are what's on my list currently for what I'm producing. So if you're interested in hearing my hot take about Picard season 3 or about Across the Spider-Verse, then you're welcome to find me on my channel Shiny FX.
All right. Yeah. For the True Pop Culture 7 channel, you can expect a lot of meme videos. A lot of movie reviews. That's in the making. I may or may not make a review for this one. Not entirely
What
sure
is there
yet.
to say? I was thinking about making a review, and it
Yeah.
stopped at the first few lines of Indiana Jones and the Waste of My Time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's it, because there's no possible way you can like genuinely, what do you say about this film other than recount the events and
Mhm.
just say, yeah, this is like it doesn't make sense, it's shit, nothing happens, that's it, that's all you can say. You like, how do you narrow this down into some points that you can make in like a script that you're going to go by one? The best you could do is a plot synopsis, but even then, all you're doing is recounting the events because they're so stupid you don't need to explain
Yeah.
like
The,
what's so terrible about them.
yeah. The best way to describe this film, I think, with one word, is hollow. There's nothing to it. Didn't make you feel anything whatsoever.
The other films, okay, they
Yeah.
end with like, okay, so Indy like gets the arc to the government, and
Mhm.
like he gets the girl.
Mhm.
Oh, he repairs his relationship with his father, and like they ride off into the sunset. That's a nice. Like you can see how from the beginning of the film to the end of the film, there's a change now. Like the status quo has been changed as they go back to normal. Like with the fixing of the father's relationship, or through falling in love with I've already forgotten her name that I've said thousands of times in this one video, one stream, Marion. But here, the only change from the beginning of the film to the end of the film is that Mariam just appears and she's fine with him now. Like, you don't get over the pain that she's been suffering because of the loss of her son or her being divorced. Nothing is fixed. She's just there now. That's so unearned.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no satisfaction to it whatsoever. We can find plenty of satisfaction in The Last Crusade, for instance.
But the chemistry between Sean Connery and Harrison Ford, it's amazing. There's only 12 years of age difference between these two, and yet he plays his dad perfectly.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fantastic.
You could definitely have that father-son dynamic in another Indiana Jones movie if you absolutely had to make one, which you didn't. I still feel, because I like to write stories and whatnot, and primarily scripts. I know about script writing, and it just bugs me when I see a story and I just see so many things you could do, and this movie didn't do anything really, and it's annoying because it's just like, how about you do this or this? No.
One of my favorite pastimes in writing, if I'm just like bored, what I'll do is I'll write down story ideas using bad films and bad TV shows as like a plot basis, but it'll be original story. 'Cause I don't like it when people say, "How could we fix The Force Awakens?" I prefer saying, "How can we take elements from The Force Awakens and make something good from it?" Because I looked at, for example, the Boba Fett TV show, and I looked at some of these elements and think there are ways that you can do this well. So you have a bounty hunter who like kills the crime lord and takes over, but because they're like bottom fish who are now like trying to be king of the pond, that creates a power vacuum, and because of that there's like other effects that are going on. That as a basic idea, there are so many cool and interesting things you can do with that. And I remember because of that I wrote out a whole bunch of ideas, and I thought they were pretty cool that you could do with them. That is my favorite pastime. But even with this, there's only a handful of things I can pull apart and think this element's kind of cool, or that's kind of cool, because it's all just dead on arrival.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
But it's just like
the best idea I've had for this film is the Incredibles. He's like getting tired of his monotonous happy life, and he wants the excitement and nostalgia for the old days. That's the best idea I've had, and it's not even in the film. It's just an alternative idea.
Yeah, the thing is, like with Last Jedi, something like Last Jedi, it'd be quite difficult because the film is so shit. With this one, it's a little different because I feel like they didn't do anything risky or anything, I don't know, like of consequence, like you said, and it's just like, I just feel like this. You make a freaking Indiana Jones film. You do something worthwhile, and I don't feel like they did that. Just some fan fiction history in here, with some sort of puzzles, and it's just like you feel so detached because it's bullshit history. But yeah,
At
on that
least
note,
with the other ones, it's like they're taking history, and they're like so you've got the cup of chalice, which is the which had the blood of Christ, and that heals people. That's a historical thing that they've taken and they've made real, right? The Ark of the Covenant, it's a real thing, and they said, "What if we make this real, this biblical thing real?" That is a pretty basic idea, and it's quite tangible in what you can sink your teeth into, because it is something that we have records of, but we don't
Yeah.
have
And
anything
everyone has
let's
heard
say,
of
concrete
Atlantis.
about it.
Everyone and their grandmother. Why not sell your movie on that level instead of just some bullshit Destiny dial?
They could have done anything. They could
Yeah.
they could have done fucking anything over this. But I feel like Atlantis is a bit too much Tomb Raider territory.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think there was some sort of game or novel that dealt with Atlantis, and it's just like I think like when I think archaeology, I just think
Actually,
Atlantis. Really.
Atlantis is the last thing I think of when it comes to archaeology, because Atlantis, we have no archaeology for. The only time that I ever hear Atlantis in archaeology is when you get like ancient conspiracy conspiracy theorists coming out and saying, hey, is this like sandstone rocks in the bottom of the ocean? Are these roads? And then you're like, no, that it's some rocks. It's some no, it's not a road. And they're like, is this evidence of Atlantis? It's like, no, because if this is a road, where the fuck does it go? It just like leads into the ocean. Like, this doesn't make sense. And it's like when this is submerged doesn't even line up with when Atlantis was supposedly sunk. So unless the Atlanteans really like their underwater roads, that doesn't make sense. So that's the only time I ever hear about Atlantis. It's always with the conspiracy theories and not actual historians talking about it.
Do you know what I can't wait in regards to this film? Listening to the EFAP of it, essentially. I'll enjoy listening to that. Nothing else.
But again, what are they going to say on this? With the Last Jedi, there is so much you can talk about with like how much like the film cocks up events, how it messes with so many previously established details and world building and lore, and like how shit the characters are. The Phoebe Waller-Bridge, her problems are that she's smug, she's got an incredibly punchable face, she's not as attractive as the film keeps trying to say that she is, and she's ultimately a terrible person that the film doesn't pay any attention to, despite the fact that she, again, leaves Indiana Jones for fucking dead. And that's all you can say about her. There is so little to think. I keep repeating myself because there's nothing else to say. There really isn't. The Last Jedi, so many things to talk about. The Force Awakens, so many things to talk about. Across the Spider-Verse, so many things that we can talk about there. The Orville Season 3, plenty of things we can talk about. They talk about Picard. We can talk about, fucking Clone Wars. Anything has some more things that we can talk about than this, because things just happen and then we move on. And there is no relevance. There's shit continuity between these two events that happen. They just happen. We move on to next thing. And the event that we just went through was pointless. It had no effect on, like, there's no reason for it to be there other than to go to the next scene. It is the script's equivalent of going and then and then and then and then.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, and we'll need to finish off. We've been going on a tangent slightly, but you're definitely on point. So anyway, thank you all, everyone, for watching and sticking with us through this, for our therapy, essentially, of surviving through this film, I guess. That was Indiana Jones and a giant waste of time, and
fucking stole my joke.
Yeah. I for the True Pop Culture channel, I'll be trying to do much more memes, much more reviews and whatnot. I'm trying to kick it up a notch with my channel, which is why I changed the logo, because I'm trying to essentially make the channel more my own than just the Spider-Man logo, essentially. And there were some jokes people kept telling me I stream with, that it looks like Spider-Man was getting a face show essentially on that, but I guess that's their thoughts on it. But in a nutshell, this is how I guess I'd react to Indiana Jones 5 initially being made.
Why?
Again, I love that clip. I just love playing it, And anytime I have a chance to play it, I shall play it. And on that note, we'll be finishing off. See you, everyone.
No, wait, wait, you've ended it, or can I just say something?
No, we're still going.
Okay,
What
so I think that there is an excellent clip to end this on, and let me just pull it up.
Okay.
Just because I think it describes it in a very roundabout way.
Okay, you have me interested
And,
now.
It's in my. Here it is.
I'm trying to find it. Where is it? Oh, there we go.
Used to a feckless, bed-wetting, parmesan-shaving imbecile who revels in his own uselessness.
There you go. That's the end.
Yes, that explains the makers behind this film in a nutshell.
It's Indiana Jones himself in this film.
He's been reduced to a feckless, bed-wetting, parmesan-shaving imbecile who revels in his own uselessness.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to end it off. Well done for finding that, Shiney. All right. See you, everyone.